Oh, my God.
That sucks.
We got Angry Video Game Nerd on the phone. Angry Game Video Nerd, how are you?
Hey, how are you?
It's Opie and Anthony, Jim Norton, and a bunch of other guys. How are you? I said that already.
Up? I'm pretty good.
Good.
Yeah, watched some of your work. I loved it. I mean, it's nostalgic, brings back memories of playing some of these shitty games. And you got quite the take on it. It's not just like you're reviewing these things, but you're kind of passionate about it.
Yeah, you got a great way about you as you do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah. So what? You played these shitty games when you were younger?
Yeah.
And decided you were gonna just put them up there and talk about how crappy they were.
Yeah, like the first one I did, it was just some little joke, and just some stupid thing I did, and I thought it was just funny. Like the whole joke was like, who would care about all these old games? And little did I know it gained this huge following, and everybody was like, this is hilarious, you got to do more. And so I started doing more and more and more, and then I started finding all these games I never even heard of, and then learning about them as I'm reviewing them, and it's been fun.
What was the first game you reviewed?
The first one was Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest. It was actually a classic game. It's in the Castlevania franchise, but there was just lots of flaws in it, lots of things that were just really weird. So it was a good one to start with.
My favorite was probably Top Gun. Was really a good one. You ripped the shit out of that one.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about the Top Gun one, I was watching some of these last night, and I was taking a look at the Power Glove one that you reviewed.
Yeah.
And the best part about the Power Glove one is that he's playing time. The thing was impossible to use, but he's playing Top Gun.
What was the Power Glove?
It was this awful. To be perfectly honest, it really reminds me of what the Wii is now. It was basically this just infrared sensor that you'd wear on your hand and try to control the game with this shitty glove. And he actually landed the plane in Top Gun with the Power Glove.
After he couldn't land it with the controller ever. It was just impossible to land that fucking plane on the carrier. And also Back to the Future was another great one. The dumbest friggin' additions in that game that had nothing to do with the movie.
Yeah, like most of the games I do are NES games or movie-based games.
Yeah,
and a lot of times it's fun to compare the movies with the games, and it's like, where did they come up with these ideas? Like
the bowling balls.
Yeah, the bowling balls.
It's like, what the hell does that have to
do? Yeah.
Now, what are you playing now? Do you actually play games now, like new games?
I try to, but I'm too occupied with just playing crappy games. It'd be nice to play some good games here and there. Well, yeah, I play some Wii games. Like I played like the new Zelda, Twilight Princess.
Jeez.
But and now I've sort of become a collector. So I have the old, I have the Intellivision, ColecoVision, the Atari 2600, and all that.
Yeah, you've had to like get all these platforms and the games themselves. Where do you find this shit?
Yeah, a lot of times, sometimes it's eBay, and I have a PayPal donation on my site, so people donate. And some people actually donate directly. Like, I give out a P.O. box address on request. So some people have actually sent me games. And so I get, like, lots of stuff in the mail. I get, like, stuff I never heard of. I once mentioned in a video that I didn't have a Sega Saturn. And next thing, I got 4 of them in the mail.
Of course you did. They've been sitting in a box for the last 10 years in an attic. It's no surprise.
That thing sucked. I got the Sega Genesis and then the add-on.
The 32X.
Yeah.
CD?
The Sega CD. And, was that awful. They made it look like it was going to be so cool. There was that one game where you went into the sewers, and you're kind of racing around, and it just turned into a turn right, turn left.
Yeah. It's like pushed, when the arrows appear.
Yeah, the arrows appeared, and you had to push the button near the arrow, and then it would turn into another what amounted to a cutscene.
Yeah.
Like another Dragon's Lair.
Yeah, another Dragon's Lair
exactly.
bullshit.
Hey, you've played a lot of these old video games by now. Which is the worst one so far?
Oh man, well, my second review was Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I think I still stand by that really is one of the worst games I've ever played. Because back then you don't really take into account how bad they are. You just you play them, and that's really all there was. But Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, I remember even back then was bad. And if it was bad back then, it's bad.
What was bad about it?
It doesn't really make any sense. Basically, you're just walking, and then all of a sudden, lightning strikes, and you're dead. And that's it. That's pretty much the game. It's like you put it in for like 10 seconds, and you're done.
But what are you supposed to do?
I've never really. I think there are like explanations. Like some people have actually found out like what you're supposed to do, and you can read all about it.
Yeah,
on the internet. But
back then, no one cared about like what the games were about. They just wanted to pump out games, and they were awful. None of them really made much sense.
Well, it was the cool factor that you could actually do this at home, so it didn't really matter. Yeah. They didn't really have to put a lot of thought into the actual game. Because remember, there's a lot of us out there that remember playing Pong and thinking that was the coolest thing ever. So
yeah. Well, it was for a little while.
You go from Pong to some of these other games that had no point. They look cool as hell, and that's all that mattered.
I like the franchises that are still out there, and you compare the two, like Microsoft Flight Simulator. It looks hysterical in its first generation. The frame rate was ridiculous. You'd go to turn the plane, and it wouldn't turn, so you'd keep the joystick over, and then you realize it's going to turn like 5 seconds later, and you're upside down, and then you try to turn it back. And now you look now at the new Flight Simulator from Microsoft, and it's just the graphics are amazing. It looks photorealistic. Wow. But that franchise just kept going, and actually, I remember playing that first one though, and thinking, "Oh, this is so cool! It's really like flying a plane."
And now you look back on what was I thinking?
Yeah,
right?
it's a joke.
Yeah. And the other thing I want to mention, you also review the porn games. There was a time where the porn games became pretty hot. There were a lot of them out there. What do you have to say about that?
Well, Atari 2600 was an interesting case. I mean, it was like the console that put, games in like the pop culture, but they would just, for one thing, there was just endless supply of games on Atari because Atari didn't need to approve any of the games that were made for it, that like anybody could just make an Atari game and sell it, as long as, if you had the technical. Yeah, like today, people are still making like homemade Atari games here and there. But back then, like, there would just be all this ridiculous stuff, like all these porn games, and like there was like the horror games, like there was like Halloween and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and you see like a head get decapitated, and there's like little pixelated blood comes out, and back then that was shocking. That was like unheard of. So like they wouldn't be able to sell it, and they'd have to like take it off the shelves and like only give it out like on a request basis, like people come in and ask for it, like they have
like
it hidden behind the counter.
Yeah, I saw that Halloween review that you did, and the game was so homemade that they didn't even have art like for a sticker to put on the console, to put on the cartridge itself. So it was just like a peel-off sticker, and someone wrote with like marker Halloween.
Like they ran out of labels, so they actually wrote on it with a marker.
The funny one was what was it, the Indian raping, the cowboy
Custer's
oh yeah, we had to rape the Indian squaw,
right? And there was sperm flying from the sky
against a cactus.
Against a cactus, right? That one was hilarious.
Yeah, the jizz eater one, I can't remember the name of it.
Oh yeah, where you like
beat him and eat him.
Beat him and eat him, right?
Yeah, it was like jizz was shooting out.
Yeah.
And then there was the other version.
Yeah,
there was the other one where the whore was squirting titty milk off of the building.
Oh, that's right. You had to avoid the titty milk.
It was the same game with the gender reversed.
Right.
Yeah.
And they were the most deceiving boxes ever, because on the outside of the box, it looked so